For only the 8th time in the history of the series, the Gamecocks come back from Athens with a win. Carolina scored the most points ever in the series, and they take down the Georgia Bulldogs 45-42. Coach, an amazing game. Had a lot of great individual plays, but your thoughts on the ball game that took your team to 2-0 on the season?
Todd, in 26 years as a head coach, I don't think I've ever won one like this. Offensively, we didn't play very well most of the game. But all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, we had an 80-yard drive to score a touchdown. Marcus was sort of held in check much of the game, but when it was all over, he had 27 carries, 178 yards, and very instrumental in the win. And so many defensive scores and so forth. We'll get to those during the highlights. But it was just a wonderful team victory. We didn't play extremely well all the way around. I'm sure Georgia can say the same thing, but Georgia's a good team. And for us to go in there and come out with a win, that's the way it happened, and we're happy to be 2-0.
Coach, as part of those first half highlights brought to you by Arthur State Bank, you got to start off with Georgia. They get 3 field goal attempts. They make 2 of them from about 38, 37, and then surprisingly, Blair Walsh missed a 33-yarder that gave your team a chance to get back in it. And then one of the first big plays was, of course, a scramble play by Stephen Garcia to Alshon Jeffrey. Talk about what you recall on that one.
Well, our 2 biggest pass plays were the scramble to Alshon for the touchdown. Stephen sort of rolled out, and he went to back of the end zone. He threw it up high, and Alshon came down with it. And then in the fourth quarter, I think it was 2nd and 10 or something like that, and he came out of the pocket, and Ace broke sort of toward the corner and had about a 25-yard, 30-yard gain there. So we got to work on our passing game. We've hit 10 and 11 passes, I think, in the last 2 weeks. But fortunately, we can run the ball, and our defense keeps scoring, and our special teams has had 2 scores in 2 weeks. So there's all kind of ways to win games, and this was a new one for me, and I sort of like it. I sort of like it that the offense, which I'm in charge of, is sputtering around. But the other areas of our team, scoring-wise, are doing pretty doggone well. So it's exciting to win this way. We got to get better, though. We've given up 8 touchdown passes in 2 games. Our pass defense got to get better somehow. So there's a lot of areas we need to improve: offense, pass defense, and but we got some time to work on it.
Coach, what a key play with 2:47 to go in the second quarter of that first half. You go on 4th and 7 and fake a punt, and Melvin Ingram goes 68 yards. I've never seen a big guy run like that for a touchdown. As you mentioned, it's the second special teams touchdown. You've had 3 defensive scores. Talk a little bit about your thought process in going for it.
Well, John Butler, our special team coach, said, Coach, we can run for it if they give us a certain look where they're just trying to hold up the guys, and we sort of, block them down while they're holding us up. And sure enough, they were in that look. And he said, the run's on. I said, okay. As long as the percentages are pretty good, let's go for it. And now we had the run on earlier, and they gave us sort of a safe look. So we called it off and punted the ball. So the percentages were pretty good. Now after we went for it, Melvin high-stepped over the line of scrimmage, made a guy miss, made another guy miss, and went 68 yards for a touchdown. So give Melvin a lot of credit. And Coach Butler also a lot of credit because it just worked.
Let's go to our second half highlights now, brought to you by Bojangles. Melvin Ingram, by the way, the first NCAA player since 2005 to have an offensive touchdown and a defensive touchdown in a game. We'll get to that in just a minute. But, Coach, Aaron Murray heated up in the second half, no doubt about it. He was 3 of 8 and ends up, I think, 19 of 29 for 248. Talk a little bit about the struggles your secondary had in slowing him down, particularly in the second half.
Well, yeah, the third and fourth quarter, we played well defensively. They only had 13 points. We gave them a 3rd and 7 touchdown, wide open down the post area. I don't know if we blew a coverage or just what. But they only had 13 at half, and they had the ball most of the half because offensively we did basically nothing. And then the second half, I don't know if we got tired or what, but they sort of picked us apart. They were either scoring touchdowns or we were scoring. Antonio Allen got another defensive score, made a beautiful interception, and took it in for a touchdown. So it was, we didn't play very well, but we made defensive scores. So I guess that offset sort of giving up some points here and there.
Coach, you mentioned one of the first things to me in the locker room after the ball game was Jay Wooten hit a 49-yarder to let you go 31-28 in the ball game. It proved to be very important.
Jay Wooten has attempted one field goal this year, 49 yards, and he made it. And he's made all his extra points. And that's how you win, Todd. I started thinking back. 2 years ago, we went to Georgia, and we went up and down the field, had about 500 yards of offense, had to kick 4 or 5 field goals, missed an extra point, and we're down there throwing it to the end zone. So we didn't score touchdowns. We looked great on offense, but we didn't score touchdowns. And we got beat 41-37. So anyway, last night was a night that we didn't look very good, but every chance we got for points, we got them. And that's how we got 45. We didn't blow any points when we were there.
Offense, defense, and special teams, everyone contributed. It actually is the most points in the history of the series between the two squads, 87 points. And here's an interesting note. It's the 4th most points ever scored by an opponent in Athens at Sanford Stadium. Guess who had number 1? The head ball coach in 1994, the Florida Gators. This is the 4th most. Coach, on our Palmetto Health Injury Report, golly, it took everybody in the stadium by surprise to see Sean Carson go out after just 1 carry.
Well, Sean, we had a little sweep play, and Coach Elliott and Coach Graham, he's pretty good not on the sweeps, he's good on everything. And unfortunately, he ran out there and sprained his knee. I hope it's not too serious, but he came off the field with a bad knee. So we'll see if that demands surgery or not as we go.
That's our Palmetto Health Injury Report. The final score, 45-42 Gamecocks. Carolina goes to 2-0. They start 2-0 in the season for the 3rd time under Steve Spurrier's tenure at Carolina. And Georgia goes to 0-2 for the first time since 1996. We'll be back with a lot of awards for some great plays in this ball game. That and more on the Steve Spurrier Show.